after the tragic shooting in Las Vegas. We're now right in the heart of that thing that happens after natural disasters and mass shootings in America, where politicians of all types offer thoughts and prayers for the victims. And unfortunately, we know how in the next few days that will devolve into talking about the next issue, whatever the next disaster is. But I was struck by the reading for Sunday, which is the two sons whose father asks them to work in the field. One says that he will do it, and then doesn't do anything. And the other says he won't do it, and then ends up doing it. Just led me to think about this thoughts and prayers idea, and that we're called to both of the sons' reactions. We are called to think of victims and to pray for them, but then we're called to do something. That's what Jesus calls us to. So today we're observing the feast of St. Francis, which I think is fitting for this talk of thoughts and prayers, because he did not limit himself to just thoughts and prayers. I'm going to read you the biography of Francis from Holy Women, Holy Men. So Francis, the son of a prosperous merchant of Assisi, was born in 1182. His early youth was spent in harmless revelry and fruitless attempts to win military glory. Various encounters with beggars and lepers pricked the young man's conscience, and he decided to embrace a life devoted to Lady Poverty. Despite his father's intense opposition, Francis totally renounced all material values and devoted himself to serve the poor. It says, of all the saints, Francis is the most popular and admired, but probably the least imitated. Few have attained his total identification with the poverty and suffering of Christ. So I think that's a good point for us to take today in the midst of these thoughts and prayers. That we are called to action. The life of Christ calls us to do things that are countercultural and outside of the norm. I think right now, at least I'm feeling very caught up in the cultural and societal inertia. That we're all kind of caught in this storm of anxiety, and it feels like nothing will ever change, and that it's fruitless to even say maybe a better way is possible. Maybe we don't have to have mass shootings. Maybe we don't have to have people living in poverty. It seems like it's foolishness to say it. But the gospel we heard at this service has Jesus saying that the gospel itself has been hidden from the wise and made plain to the foolish. So my question and my prayer for us is, how foolish are we willing to be? In this time, in this place, I think all of our wisdom has gotten us here. So maybe we're called to be foolish. We're called to live out this way. In my 12-step recovery group that I'm a part of, there's this old-timer who says the same thing every single week, just without fail at every single meeting, regardless of what the topic is. He says the same thing. And it's, are we going to talk about it or are we going to be about it? Over and over again. Are we going to talk about it or are we going to be about it? I think that's what the witness of Francis calls us to. I think it's what the gospel calls us to. So at this moment in the church in particular, we're kind of looking to the future, unsure of what lies ahead of us. I think the call of Jesus is clear. Are we going to talk about it or are we going to be about it? Because thoughts and prayers aren't enough. We have to do something to follow Jesus. Amen.
Amen.